Time for JesterEngine.com's daily tech rundown. Quick summary to kick things off. Governments from Indonesia to parts of India are moving to bar children from social media, with Indonesia saying accounts for under-16s will be deactivated starting March 28th, and Indian states like Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh proposing bans for younger teens. Big questions remain about how any of this will actually work.
Right. Indonesia has set a clear start date and named major platforms, while Karnataka's chief minister floated a proposal during the state budget, and Andhra Pradesh has pushed for an even stricter under-13 cutoff. The rationale is familiar: protection from abuse, fraud, and what officials call digital addiction.
So how do you verify ages at scale without breaking privacy or locking out vulnerable kids who need online services?
There's no perfect answer. Platforms could require stronger ID checks, use trusted third-party verification, or let schools and parents vouch, but each approach raises privacy, fraud, and inclusion problems. The bigger risk is uneven enforcement. Kids will find workarounds, and poorer or rural students could lose access to education resources if policy is blunt. It's a political push with complex technical trade-offs, and we should expect legal challenges and pilot programs before anything uniform rolls out.
Next up, Wall Street and researchers are warning AI could cause broad disruption. Anthropic released a jobs risk map highlighting which roles are already affected and which might be next, and surveys show managers and employees don't see AI the same way.
Exactly. Anthropic's map paints a plausible future where many white-collar tasks are exposed. But current evidence doesn't show a sudden spike in programmatic job losses. Exposure doesn't always equal immediate layoffs. Still, CEOs warn of an invisible layoff, where hiring algorithms and efficiency gains quietly freeze roles.
The Checkr survey showed managers feel pressure to adopt AI far more than employees do. How should companies manage that gap without breeding distrust?
Communication and governance. Employers need clear policies on when AI is a tool versus a performance expectation, training budgets for workers, and transparency about automated hiring. Tactical upskilling, internal redeployment programs, and human oversight of critical decisions will reduce the invisible harm. Also, labor and regulators should be part of the conversation, so accountability isn't just an ops problem.
Shifting gears to space, NASA's DART mission did more than change a moonlet's rotation. New analysis says it measurably altered the Didymos system's orbit around the sun. First deliberate tweak of a heliocentric orbit, that's headline-worthy.
It's a huge proof of concept. The speed change is tiny, only order of micrometers per second, but detectable. That confirms kinetic impactors can alter trajectories not just locally, but on a solar scale. For planetary defense, this moves the technique from theory into operational reality.
Practically speaking, what comes next? More tests, bigger impacts, or a global coordination framework?
All three. We'll need follow-up observations, improved modeling of ejecta and momentum transfer, and international protocols for when and how to act. It's also an insurance policy. The technology now has empirical backing, which helps justify investment in detection and readiness programs. Oh, and it gives scientists a great party trick: politely nudging space rocks.
Back on Earth, the UK government has put its controversial AI copyright overhaul on ice after creators pushed back. The House of Lords urged a licensing-first approach and stronger transparency about training data.
Creators argued an opt-out model would be impractical and existentially risky for writers, musicians, and publishers. Peers want firms to disclose what copyrighted material they use to train models and to build licensing into the default approach.
From a product perspective, how do you square model training needs with creators' rights without stifling innovation?
Licensing frameworks and clear metadata are the practical path. AI developers can negotiate usage rights, pay royalties, or use synthetic and public domain corpora while investing in provenance tools that track training sources. It's slower and more expensive than free access, but it gives creators a seat at the table and reduces legal uncertainty. That balance matters. And yes, it keeps headline-grabbing artists from launching Twitter tantrums.
Last story, reports say drone strikes damaged AWS facilities in the Middle East. Iranian state media framed the attacks as probes of U.S. dependency on cloud infrastructure, though independent verification is limited.
This is worrying because hyperscalers underpin so much digital and AI activity in the region. If true, it signals a new vector where physical conflict targets commercial tech infrastructure, raising continuity, insurance, and geopolitical issues.
How should tech companies and governments respond to the prospect of data centers becoming targets?
Diversification and hardening. Operators will accelerate geographic distribution, multi-cloud redundancy, and physical security upgrades. Governments may treat certain facilities as critical national infrastructure, needing diplomatic safeguards. Legal and business continuity planning will evolve rapidly. Clients and investors will demand resilience. In short, expect more hardened architecture, more cachet for edge and private cloud options, and a renewed emphasis on decoupling data and compute from single points of failure.
That's a sobering note to end on, but thanks. And hey, if we ever need to evacuate our podcast to a satellite, at least we'll have the dark proof of concept. The preceding audio summary was created at jesterengine.com, where you can find and verify the original sources.